Welcome and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Before we get started, one minor housekeeping detail. Please silence your cell phones and anything else that goes beep, but leave your pacemakers on. I'm Nina Malinak, and I serve on the board of directors as your second vice president. Tonight's service will be led by Rabbi Carla Friedman. Music will be provided by the Rosengolds, Rachel Rosenzweig and Yuri Reingold. Marion Sharkey will be lighting the Shabbat candles. I will assist with opening and closing the Ark.
Mm-hmm.
If there are any new members, will you please stand and introduce yourselves? I believe the Hirsches are here. Welcome. Yeah, not necessary, Barry. We have two guests. Ryan Smits, wave, where are you? And Amalia Serini, Fanny Reese's granddaughter.
Ooh. And Fanny Reese. She's here too.
Yeah,
Well, she's not new.
but she's not a new member.
No, she's an old member. Yeah, right. Nothing counts anymore. Yeah.
We welcome you tonight. Hope you enjoy the service, and please come back often. It's all yours.
I'll be back again. Yeah. So I think we are establishing that my microphone is a bit loud. Yeah? Okay. So the hand signal to the tech crew is like this, right? Yeah. Is it getting any better? Is it getting any better? Okay, it's good now. All right. Yeah. So we have attended to a couple of items of business. The magic word that Nina spoke, which I have on my script, but I'm not allowed to say. And then she's mentioned the phones. So did everybody silence your cell phone? Oh, good. John is going to silence his cell phone. Okay. And so now we're going to take the opportunity to engage fully with Shabbat. I'm going to ask you to put your feet on the floor, your back against the chair. Sit upright if you can. And take this opportunity to close your eyes and just let yourself be. Just let yourself be in this moment. And I want you to pay attention to your breathing in and out, breathing in and out. Just pay attention to the rhythm of that. And this is what is called the rhythm of life. Just feel the rhythm of that breath moving in you. And I want you to think about leaving behind the week that we have already completed. And I want you to choose this evening not to think about the week ahead, and instead to be here, now, present. And to do that, you have to put all that other stuff aside, and you have to focus on being in the room, present. And you have to be conscious of your position on the chair, and be aware of your feet on the floor. And you have to be conscious of your breathing. And as you're focusing on your breathing, focus on breathing out the worries of the week and breathing in relaxation. And breathing out the issues that distract you over the course of the week, and breathing in peace of mind, and breathing out the things that occupy your time, and this time breathe in the freedom not to be on the clock, and focus on breathing in and breathing out. Do it again. Be aware of the breath in and the breath out. And do that one more time. Breathe in and breathe out consciously. And open your eyes. And we're going to begin with the singing of Dodi Li. You can find it on page 129 in the prayer book. And this is a text from the Song of Songs. You may know this particular version, and I think it would be good if they could sing along, don't you? Yeah. Okay, so this is your opportunity. Dodi Li.
Shoshanim Dodili Mizotola Min Hamidbar Mizotola Min Hamidbar Dodili Vanilo Aroe Bashoshanim Dodili Mekoteret Mor Morulevonam Morulevonam Dodili Dodili Vanilo Aroe Bashoshanim Dodili.
We're going to continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Marion Sharkey is going to come up to do that. Well, that's okay. One at a time. So, Marion, are you up here for, is there some celebration or anything that brings you up here?
Well, it has been our 60th anniversary a week ago, or I should say it was.
It was your 60th anniversary, yes.
Wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary, I see, yes. Okay, well, good you clarified that.
Yes.
And is there any other occasion that you're... No? Well, okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I could dream one up. It was Father's Day.
It was Father's Day. I did, yes, I noticed that. Well, in any case, you
Well,
have
our
a...
anniversary takes the spotlight.
Yes, well, there you are. What? Mazel tov, yes, there you go, yes. So, Marion, you have a reading
Yes.
which is on the screen. It is not in the prayer book, and this is meant to be a responsive reading. So, you have your part, and Marion will begin.
Yes, if you notice, the second line it's in italics.
And it's
That's your
indented.
part. That's
It's
your part.
indented, yes. We
And-
went through this at the tech rehearsal the other day. It's
Yes.
indented and it's in italics.
It's not in.
We'll talk about the brackets later. We didn't get into the brackets
We're
now.
not up to the bracket.
No, no. I tell you.
On this day, we would see the world in a new light.
On this day, we would spirit to our lives.
On this day, we would taste a new time of peace.
We would rest from desire for gain, ambition for things.
We would raise our eyes to look beyond time and space toward eternity.
Oh, may we come to see the world in a new light.
As it is written, let a new light shine upon Zion, and may it be our blessing to see its splendor. Okay.
We'll take that, yeah.
The matches. Look at that. Go home with all my fingers.
Yes, yes. Mhm. No, you have to use the other end.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Come on, little candle. Come on, little candle. Okay, you can do it. You can do this. Yeah, you could grow up to be big and tall.
I think it's the combination of breaths that throws that one out.
It's the air conditioning up there.
You know, this has been a thing for the last several weeks, but for the last 2 weeks we've had candles lit and stayed. So it's just usually this one that gives us the aggravation. Yes. No.
It's the little candle that could.
The little candle that should. Come on, little candle. You can do this. You can do this. Come on. Yeah. No. No fanning, nothing. This way lies Tsurus. You know, the great suspense now at these services is whether the candles will stay lit. We're going to continue on page 123 now with Kiddush. The text is on the screen. If you're at home, we hope you will lift a glass of wine and join us in Kiddush. And if you are in the sanctuary, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. Come on, little candle. Come on, little candle. You can do it. You can do it.
Nescado. Wonder of wonder, miracle of miracles. Mm-hmm. And on that note,
We're going to continue with Lechadodi. And if you're looking for it in the prayer book, pages 138 and 139, though there's also the page numbers that are in the brackets. These are the blue brackets that are square. And you should sing along. We're going to be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, we all stand up. Well, I'm already standing. You have to stand. And face the entrance, because tradition has it that we bow in welcoming the Shabbat bride. So we turn to the entrance, to the door she has to come through. So we'll do that when we get to verse 9. Meantime, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmiyanu Yuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, Shemo Tiferet Velit Tefila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Likrat Shabbat לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי בהורג קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ידדי 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 בני שבת נקבלה.
We're going to continue on page 144 with Chatzi Kaddish. The text is on the screen as well. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyom echon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imiru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lal me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'meru. And we continue on page 146 with the formal opening of the service, the call to worship. Please rise for the Barchu. Where are your cue cards? Where are your cue cards? Lai, 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 lai. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lie, 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 lie. And we're going to continue with a reading which is on the screen. That's interesting. Huh? It is responsive, but somehow I messed that up. So let's read on. Well, let's try that one more time. I thought I got it all. There it is. Ah, at the bottom of the page. And it's okay. No, it works fine. I just have to pay more attention. So this is a responsive reading. Once we learned one truth, and it was cherished or discarded, but it was one.
Now we are told that the world can be perceived by many truths. Now, in the reality all of us encounter, some find lessons that others deny.
Once we learned one kind of life and one reality, it too we either adopted or scorned. Now we are told that there are many rights, that what is wrong may well be wrong for you, but right for me. That clear way, that single truth is what we seek in coming here, to join our people who saw the eternal one when others saw only the temporal now. And that brings us to Ahavat Olam, and that's on page 150 in the prayer book if you're looking for it.
Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Amecha,
Amecha,
Ahavta.
ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו Yisrael. And we're going to continue now on page 152 with the Shema, which will be on the screen as well, of course. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. And we have a responsive reading on the screen. This is our truth. The one God calls forth being from nothingness and makes all things one. But we are not yet one in fact. Our human race is broken into fragments, and we wait to be redeemed into a lasting unity. While hatred rules the earth, redemption will not come. Until people return from their exile from each other, redemption will not come. Until we restore the lawless to their true selves and rekindle in them the spark of God, redemption will not come. While we care only for ourselves, redemption will not come. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. מי כמוך.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי היום לפני משה ומרים, זלינו ואמרו, זלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי לי לי.
Let's read together. It is evening, and children slowly dream away the storms of day. It is evening, and stars glow gently in the quiet heavens. Can we understand a dream? Find a net to capture the meaning of a glowing star? What bridge spans the vast space we must cross to reach understanding? How small are we who attempt the journey, and yet somehow we learn to find our glory in a brave and endless struggle to comprehend eternal mysteries. We are voyagers in an infinite sea, our destination always beyond the horizon, but we are voyagers. I have to say that reading this particular reading, the week when the underwater craft was lost, is very, very poignant. Can we understand a dream, find a net to capture the meaning of a glowing star? What bridge spans the vast space we must cross to reach understanding? And then it says, we are voyagers in an infinite sea. Right? Let's continue with Hashkivenu, page 160 in the prayer book, if you're looking for it.
Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu,
לשלום, לשלום. השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו לשלום. והעמידנו שמרנו לחיים ולשלום, ולשלום. השכיבנו, 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 הנה אלוהינו לשלום, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו לשלום.
Great hearing all of you sing with us. That's awesome.
It's cool, huh?
Very.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to think that not so long ago we didn't know that melody, right? Mhm. Yeah, it is. A great pianist was once asked by an ardent admirer, "How do you handle the notes as well as you do?" The artist answered, "The notes I handle no better than many pianists, but the pauses between the notes, that is where the art resides." In great living, as in great music, the art may be in the pauses. Surely one of the enduring contributions which Judaism made to the art of living was the Shabbat, the pause between the notes. And it is to the Shabbat that we must look if we are to restore our lives, if we are to restore to our lives the sense of serenity and sanctity which Shabbat offers in such abundant joyousness, or joyous abundance. You have your choice there. Yes, either way works, yes. You know, the text that we're going to sing now is, I've discovered, not included in a lot of Shabbat evening services in prayer books. And that's because it really comes from the additional service that is done on Shabbat morning. And it's Yismachu. It isn't in the evening service. But you know what? We like it anyway. So let's do Yismachu.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. וקוראי עונג וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. מקדשי שבי כולם ישביעו יתענגו מטובך. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. וקוראי עונג וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. והשביעי רצית בו, רצית בו וקידשתו, עמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. וקוראי עונג וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת.
And we're going to continue now with the Amidah. It begins in the prayer book on page 164. The text is going to be on the screen, and we will do the first three sections at the Ark and then come back to the podium to continue the Amidah. So please rise now for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah, Rab lohoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Mekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech meimit u'mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ugdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. And we're going to continue with a text that's on the screen. Let's read let's read this responsively. I'll start. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans.
Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. And we're going to continue on page 174 with Ritzei. The text is on the screen.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael Utefilatam be'ahava tekabel Utehi leratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El karov lechol korav b'nei avadecha v'chaneinu Shafach ruchacha aleinu ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים ברוך אתה Adonai המחזיר שכינתו לציון
We continue with a text which is on the screen. Let's read together. O God of Israel's past, God of this day, God of all flesh, creator of all life, we praise you, the Most High, for the gift of life. We give thanks, O source of good, that life endures. Eternal and infinite one, help us to use our life for blessing, to live by your law, to do your will, to walk in your way with a whole heart. We thank you, eternal God, for the blessing of life. And on page 178, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol eit uv'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
It's nice you guys are learning that one too.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
That's our goal.
You know, in 4 or 5 years, we'll have that right down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the text is on the screen. So let's read together. God of all generations, may the rest and quiet of this hour of worship refresh our inner life and bring us tranquility. May we find contentment and peace, our desire for possessions abated, our hope for advantage subdued. But let us not be content, O God, when others go hungry, or be serene while some lack their daily bread. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Then shall our lives be called good, and our names be remembered for blessing. The traditional text for silent prayer is offered on the screen now, and you are welcome, of course, to devise your own.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
In some circles, that is known as the gospel version of Oseh Shalom. We're going to continue now with the opportunity to offer prayers for the sick amongst us. Members of the congregation is where we start, and I will give you an opportunity afterwards to offer prayers for people on your personal Mishaberach list. And once we have done all of those things, then we will have the music for the Mishaberach. So this Shabbat, the congregation is offering prayers for the well-being of the following members: Beverly Adler, Robert Berg, Elaine Bialer, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Arlene Cohen, Bernie Cohen, Freda Cohen, Marianne Fink, Batsheva Sarah Gamaran, Richard Hoffing, Liz Jacobs, Bernie Katz, Marcia Katz, Verdna Kelly, Carolyn Corlin, Marlis Markovitz, Bonnie Meyer, Amy Mogil, Paula Newberger, Faye Nippon, Susan Pernick, Leslie Rapkin, Fanny Reese, Betty Sarlin, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Barry Schwartz, Brenda Shapiro, Joe Sheff, Norman Toff, Ruth Turchin, Harvey Weiss, Don Zion, Stanley Zarofsky, Leslie Zwain, Amit Ben Shirley, Aharon Gedalia Ben Rochel Itzel, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chava Bat Esther Malka, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Devorah Bat Meta, Devorah Bat Ruth, Esther Badana Bat Shena Malka, Henya Rachel Bat Sarah, Heshleb Ben Devorah, Yosef Shmuel Ben Bertha, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Bat Esther, Masha Surah Bat Chana, Menachem Ben Frima, Mendele Bat Frima, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hersh Ben Rivka, Pesach Lev Ben Sarah, Sarah Mindel Bat Chana Leah, Shena Leah Bat Devorah, Shirley Bat Sarah, Shulamit Bat Zilla, Velvel Ben Hindabela, and Yonatan Ben Chassia. And now I'm going to ask you to take a few moments to offer prayers on behalf of the people for whom you are personally praying. Think about those people, and as you do so, please articulate the names silently. Please take this time to do that. While we're praying, I want to encourage you to offer prayers for the people of the Ukraine. And for people in this country in particular, and people everywhere who are living with the aftermath of violence, particularly gun violence. And let's offer prayers for people who are dealing with the consequences of climate change. Let's offer prayers for our country. And let's offer prayers for our planet. And I want to remind you that on the list of names that we read every week, there's a long list in English, but there's another long list in Hebrew, and some of the people you might be thinking about who are congregants, their names may very well be there in Hebrew. So if you have questions about that, and I know some people do, please talk to me about that afterwards this evening, okay? Music.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים אל נא רפנה אל נא רפנה אל נא רפנה אל נא רפנה מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים הוא יברך וירפא את החולים
I have been preparing to address the subject of the state of Israel for weeks now. And I've been cut out a couple of times because that long-winded rabbi keeps going on, and the service just doesn't allow time for the drash. But tonight here I am, and so here I'm back to the subject of the state of Israel. And there are some really interesting things going on over there. First of all, you know about the violence that's been taking place on the West Bank, which is just mind-numbing that we're back to this again. And you know, it's this side starts and this side answers, and then it's the other way around. And so there's no way to discern what is right and what is wrong in this. Of course, it's abetted this time around by the decisions of the government. And that brings us back to our favorite subject, the political situation in Israel. So something happened about 10 days ago that is beyond my comprehension. I'm going to make an effort to explain it tonight, but if you don't understand it, please recognize that I don't either. So you may know that one of the major propositions of the current government has been to change a lot of things about the Supreme Court. Did you know that? Yeah. Well, one of the things they want to change about the Supreme Court is who gets to be on the Supreme Court. And the Israeli way of doing things is different by a lot than the American way. And the Israeli way of doing things is that there has to be a committee that makes appointments to the Supreme Court. And how the critical question becomes who gets to be on the committee. And so here's how it unfolded. It turns out that there are 3 seats on this committee to be occupied by current Supreme Court justices. How they figure out which ones get that, I don't know. Then there are 2 seats on this committee that are to be filled by members of the Israel Bar Association. How they figure out that, I don't know. And then there are seats that are supposed to be filled by appointment from the governing body. That would be the coalition that runs the government currently. And there's supposed to be a seat on that committee from the opposition. And you might expect, I would have expected, that the way this would unfold is that when the nominations are made from the coalition and from the opposition, that the coalition would stand by its nominees, and that would be the end of the story, right? Well, they didn't. The coalition voted against its own nominee. Where else could this happen? Right. The coalition voted against its own nominee, and so they voted for the member from the opposition, who is now a member sitting on the committee. Does this surprise you at all? Yeah. Well, it's every bit as crazy as all the rest of the stuff that goes on in the name of the way to run a country, you know? You would, yes, it's just a crazy arrangement. So this committee now has to meet and nominate candidates to the Supreme Court. But the question is, who is beholden to whom now? And this is beyond anyone's comprehension, because such a thing has never happened before. Imagine being the nominee of the coalition who was defeated by the coalition. How do you go back to being a member of the coalition? And that's not a joke. That's the critical question. Because there are lots of observers saying right now that Netanyahu has lost control of the coalition. Well, it might be good, but it's very dangerous. Because he is of a mind to act anyway, and we have to be aware of that. He has done things unilaterally before, and he could do them again. But the problem is, if he has lost control of the coalition, what comes after that? An election, yes. Yes, another election. You know, there hasn't been one for a few months. And the Israelis apparently think it's a great sport. But the question is, if the coalition is pushed into dissolution, and it could be over this Supreme Court thing, and it could be over other things as well. Well, I'll come back to that. If the coalition is pushed into dissolution, there goes the Knesset, and that will necessitate another election. But the question is, will it produce a different result? That's the problem. Will it? That's the problem. So that's one of the things that has been going on. First, there's the whole mishmash about the Supreme Court. Then there's the other aspect of the Supreme Court, which is that the Netanyahu coalition wants to restrict the power of the Supreme Court. They want to give the Knesset the power to override a Supreme Court decision. Because in Israel, as we've said many, many times, there is no constitution and there is no formal separation of powers and there is no formal system of checks and balances. So if you give the Knesset, the parliament, the ability to override the Supreme Court, what's the point of having a Supreme Court? But there is no institution which is secure in this situation. It's a very risky situation for the state of Israel. Very strange position for a country to be in. And people ask at the same time, somebody asked me just the other day, are they still out in the streets in Israel protesting? And yes, they are. They are. It's sort of like what happened in this country a couple of years ago with the Black Lives Matter movement. It did have a beginning, but it went on for a very long time. And it did accomplish some things. What will happen in Israel is hard to say. But this whole business now circling around the Supreme Court is very, very serious. And for those of us who think that there's a democracy at work in Israel, we have to figure out how to work to make that true. Because right now it is not exactly true. What happens if the coalition fails? What happens if the current violence on the West Bank backfires against the government, which has said they're going to authorize the building of more Jewish homes on the West Bank? Yes, they've committed to that. Why are they doing that? Because you have to remember that a part of the coalition is the ultra-Orthodox. And the ultra-Orthodox will argue till the cows come home that all of that territory is authentically Israel. And we should not let anybody else take control of it. And they will tell you that by leaving that part of the territory, we're talking now about the West Bank of the Jordan River, by leaving that territory outside of the state of Israel, we are defaulting on our religious obligation to unify Israel and recreate the state that never existed within these boundaries that they talk about. That never existed. But they're saying that because we haven't done that, we are delaying the Mashiach, the Messiah. And so they are now the tail wagging the coalition. There's not that many of them in the coalition, but if they walk away because they are angry that their goals have not been met and supported, the government will fall. And Netanyahu is, at the same time that all of these things are happening, Netanyahu is going through 3 trials on corruption charges. 3 separate trials on corruption charges. Does this sound at all familiar? One dreads to think about, if certain people got together and compared their scorecards. Huh? I have more trials than you do. That would be a big one. But Netanyahu has been shown over and over again to do whatever he has to do to secure his power. And to secure his power, he has to keep himself out of prison. So even, but not that he couldn't attempt to govern from prison. That might also be true. But it's not the right way to do things. Or, well, not the convenient way to do things. And so he's going to do everything he has to do to keep the coalition alive and to prevent the need for another election. But that power may be in the process of being removed from him because of the violence on the West Bank and because of what they're trying to do over the Supreme Court. And there are apparently people in high places in this country who believe that Netanyahu has already lost control of the coalition. And you know, we might say that good, but be careful what you ask for, because who knows what will come next. This is the most radical government ever elected in Israel. Okay? And that doesn't mean it's the most radical government that could be elected. The next time around could be worse. Remember that there have been 4 elections in a period of 3 years, and all 4 of those elections have come out almost dead even between the left and the right sides of the political continuum. 4 times they've done that. Do you think that there is any reason to expect that another election would have a different outcome? No. I don't know. Maybe all those people demonstrating in the streets indicates something. Maybe. Maybe there are enough people angry, scared, or just nervous about what the damage will be to the country if the reformation of the Supreme Court actually takes place. Maybe there are enough of those people to vote against the current coalition, but there's no guarantees, because Israel is, as you know, a place unto itself. So if you're looking for information about what's going on in the state of Israel, there are many sources of news on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. The Reform Movement puts out information. All of the major Jewish organizations publicly release information on a regular basis. You should have no difficulty following the events as they unfold. Understanding what it all means is another story. And that's all I'm going to say tonight on the story of the State of Israel. If anybody has any advice about how we should understand this or what we should be doing about it, please see me later. We are going to continue now with the Aleinu on page 586 in the prayer book, and on the screen, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום וידעת היום והשבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. And we read together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. And we continue with the reading that is on the screen and in the prayer book on page 597. Let's read together. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, the congregation is remembering Samuel Rosenberg, father of Joel and Bromberg, Mary Profman, mother of Cheryl Chernoff and Paul Profman, Benjamin Frank, father of Brenda Hoffing, Elizabeth L. Bridges, mother of Elizabeth Jacobs, Julius Leschen, father-in-law of Joan Leschen, Helen Schumann, mother of Diane Rosenfeld, Harry Marin, father of Rosalind Ross, Molly Rudin, mother of Marion Sharkey, David Holtzman, father-in-law of Stephen Tabin, Lena Meyerson, grandmother of Donna Wiener, and Jonas Freeman. And we are counting Shloshim for Aaron Wolf, the son of Ida Lee Rubin, for Gary Leno, brother of Paul Leno, and for Linda Michaelowitz Reingold, the daughter-in-law of Rick and Susie Reingold. Kaddish is on page 598, and it will be on the screen. Please rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'almad rav chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yithalal, shmei dekudsha, brichu, le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. Everybody's favorite moment, announcements. Tell me about it.
A list of thank yous. Rabbi Carla for tonight's service, Marion Sharkey for lighting the Shabbat candles, Rachel and Yuri for for providing the music, and of course to the tech team. Are there any simchas? Carol?
My granddaughter's expecting her second child in May. She was supposed to come here. She lives in Alaska, so she's not coming this May. She's coming in January, where she can defrost.
Let's see if I remember all of that. Carol's granddaughter is expecting her second child, was due to visit shortly, but that visit has been delayed.
That summarizes it, yes. I have a simcha. Yes. Yesterday was my grandson's 31st birthday. Yes, yes. And he lives in Calgary, and his mother went to visit him, and her flight went screwy, and it took days, hours and hours and hours.
Like
Yes.
the Southwest debacle.
Yeah, well, yes, similar to. Yes.
Rochelle?
Rochelle, we have to talk about this. Your grandson is 4, and mine is 31. Late bloomers. Marion has waving.
Aside from our 60th wedding anniversary, for which we give many thanks, we're amazed. It's our granddaughter's 18th birthday on Sunday,
Okay, so we've got
and she just graduated from high school.
very nice. So we have 31, 18, and 4. 54 yesterday. Yesterday, yes. Okay, and you're waving your hand. Nah.
We wait till next week, because her birthday's next week.
I see. Okay. Well, we can wait.
I wanted to have a grandchild almost as old as yours, so I was gonna make you feel better, but you can wait till next week.
I'll wait.
John?
My daughter just found out that she made the president's list at the Florida Gulf Coast University, Florida Gulf Coast University, down in Fort Myers, which means that she's maintained, this is her junior year, she's about to go into her senior year, and she's been maintaining over 4.0 GPA the entire time she's been at the university. So
Oh.
they have the dean's list, and then above that, the smaller select for the president's list. So she just found out yesterday.
Very nice. Very nice. Now wait a minute.
On to the announcements.
Yes, announcements.
There'll be a Shabbat morning service tomorrow at 10 a.m. in person. Do join us and help toward making the minyan. The morning service will be followed by a Kiddush lunch and then Torah study, which is live and via Zoom. On Sunday, June 25th, From Russia with Love, the Yuri Reingold story at 2 p.m. in the social hall. Next week, classes as usual, continuing Hebrew, Tuesday at 1:30, Biblical Hebrew Grammar, Tuesday at 3, and again on Thursday at 1:30. Jewish Studies, the David Story, Thursday at 3 p.m., all on Zoom. Next Friday, Shabbat services. We will mark Rabbi Carla's 10-year anniversary as our rabbi. Our High Holy Day Tzedakah project is collecting school supplies for students and teachers. We are starting a little early and partnering with the Methodist Church in their drive to collect school supplies for at least 200 students and their teachers. They went to each local school to ask who needed help and explicitly what they needed. There are flyers on the table as you walk into the temple and in the social hall to provide the information on what is needed for the coming school year. You can also make a check out to the United Methodist Church of Sun City Center and mail it to Barbara Nova. If you prefer, you can scan the QR code on the flyer. We'll take you directly to Amazon, where you can purchase something for either a student or teacher, or both. Amazon will send the items directly to the Methodist Church for the Giving Day on August 5th. Your techie here was unable to make that work. So much, I wrote a check. That was easier. The nearly new shop will be donating clothes and shoes where needed.
I just want to say, folks, this is our High Holy Days project, And this is a really important thing because we Jews believe very strongly in the importance of education. And there are kids who can't afford school supplies. How are they going to get ahead and learn if they don't have school supplies? So we really need to step up to this one. So please give generously in, I'm sorry?
Teachers pay for things.
Yeah, out of pocket. That's
Yes.
right. That's right. So we are this is a real mitzvah for us to perform. And I do hope that we make a very good showing in support of something that we as a community strongly believe in, as you can hear from all the things about what the kids are up to. Yes.
Okay, Beth Israel Congregation's Board of Directors is sponsoring a luncheon to recognize new and prospective members. New members are congregants who have joined since August of 2022. When is it? Sunday, August 20th, from 12 noon until 2:30 p.m. New members have received personal invitations. For those who have not yet responded, please RSVP to Barry Ross by the 31st of July. Also, if you know someone interested in joining Beth Israel and who would be appropriate to invite, please have them contact Barry. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Alan and Marion Sharkey in celebration of their 60th wedding anniversary.
Very
Shabbat
cool.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Interesting you say Shabbat Shalom. I think that's going to be relevant as we get to the closing song. Am I right about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just happens to be.
It just happens that way, yes. So there's no slide. If you can't figure out the words to this, big trouble here, folks. Big trouble. So let's do this, and let's really put some energy into this, and let's thank Yuri and Rachel for the wonderful music. No. That's lovely, but this is still a service. Thank them by singing.
Yeah, sing with us.
Sing with them.
You'll pick it up quick.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach.
Shabbat Shalom. Join us, please, in the social hall for refreshments. And those folks at home, we hope you have some good refreshments too. Turn on your cell phones.
Shabbat shalom. Da, da.
Rochelle?
Shabbat shalom, honey.
Turn on your cell phone.
You are very welcome. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.